Well, hello, Instagram land. If you are there, I would love to see you give me a wave so I know that people are joining. And we are going to give you all a couple of minutes to get logged on, but so grateful that you have joined this evening. I don't know about you guys, but even though it's stay-at-home orders, I'm still excited that it's a weekend. You would think I'd want to get out of this house, but at least I'll be in this house and can do kind of lazy things. Working remote is great, but you sometimes just want to watch a movie. So I think my fancy Friday night is going to be ordering Indian food and watching a movie. So if you guys have any movie or show suggestions, go ahead and drop them in now while we're waiting for people to join us. We're going to get started in just a few minutes. We have some really great guests tonight, and I am going to do my best to answer your questions as we go. I did hear that you guys were hopeful that we could read more of the screen, and so I brought along my glasses. So we will be doing that in just a few minutes. Also, if you're here and you're thinking about all the people on the front line, go ahead and drop in some purple hearts for them so that they know that while we're here playing on Instagram and they're at the hospitals and delivering our food and working in the grocery stores, that they know that we're thinking of them. So again, drop some purple hearts in the comments so that we can see that you're thinking about all the frontline workers, because I know that I am. Just in my family alone, there's 2 nurses, and I'm sure all of you are just as worried about them as I am. So tonight, what are we going to be doing? We call this series Give It To Me Straight, which is kind of a play on the fact that we're a hair straightening company. And what we want you to learn from it is just people very unfiltered, no censor to them. They can talk about their feelings about RevAir and many other topics. Tonight, you're going to hear from one of our actual hairstylists in Indiana who uses RevAir. And we're going to talk to her about a myriad of things, from hair health to also some how-tos and tips. But then we're going to get a bit personal, and we're going to talk about her daughter who has autism and how RevAir has really changed her relationship with her hair because she now has a device that she can use. So we're going to discuss all of that. Then we're going to be joined by a mother-daughter team, and the cutest little team. Kinley is 5 years old, and she is a fashion and hair influencer. You guys, like, I was barely making like construction paper chains, but at 5 years old, she is out there being an influencer, and she's going to join, and they're going to talk about just how simple the device is to use and how they use one device for their whole family. So again, thank you for joining. We're going to jump in here in just a second, but if you would tell us in the comments where you are joining us from, we would love to give some shout outs. So let's see who's going to come up first. I see somebody's a fan of Kinley. That's exciting. She has lots of fans. In fact, she has 142,000 followers on Instagram. So we have Ohio in the house and Kansas. Awesome. Oh my gosh, it's going quickly here. We have Florida. Somebody just got their RevAir in the mail. Oh my gosh, you're gonna have the best weekend ever. We have San Diego, another one from Ohio. So many people joining us. Where are my Californians at? Waiting for some of those. There's a California. Nat Trap 2019, I see you. Chicago, oh, I love that city. That's a really great city. Canada, forget another state. We have another country joining us. Welcome. Michigan, awesome. Okay, well, I don't want to keep you guys with that for too long, but I did want to give everybody a chance to join. We are going to have our first guest join us here in just a moment. Her name is Karie Brown, and she's one of our salon professional partners. We have over 500 of them, and the number may be higher now. That was the last number that I heard, across the country. And we really wanted to know that Stylist believed that this works. And so we partnered up with them. They don't get paid for using them. We wanted their real feedback, and the feedback has just been, I love it, and I can't wait to have a professional version of it, but I don't know that I even need one because this one works so well. So there's been a lot of really great response. Karie has been a premium hairstylist for 20 years, and she specializes in color, long hair, and she really concentrates on the health of hair, which I love. And if you look at her Instagram, which I'm going to let her shout that out to you, and to her YouTube channel, you'll see the long, healthy, beautiful hair we're talking about. She's also an educator, and I'm so grateful that we're going to get to have her here tonight. So Karie, if you wouldn't mind joining us, I'd love to connect you. Look at all those hearts flying. I'm so excited. It takes just a second here sometimes to get the person connected. Let's see. Here we go. Yes, it says it's waiting for her to accept. So I know she's there. I've seen her join us. Here we go, connecting. Hi.
Hi.
Oh, don't you have like a pretty blogger influencer bedroom? Let's see the sequins pillows. It's gorgeous.
It matches the RevAir.
Right. You know what? Actually, I didn't even realize that at first. It was looking, because I have a light like directly in my face, as to make it look like I have a few less wrinkles. I didn't even notice. I couldn't tell if it was white or not. And I actually was telling everybody before you joined that I was hearing from last week that people wanted us to read some questions in live time. So I brought my glasses. Hopefully everybody will drop me an emoji with the emoji with the glasses on it to say it's okay that I wear them. But you have this light staring at you, and you have, you know, the tiniest writing. So I'm going to do my best that we answer. But thank you for joining us from Indiana tonight.
You're welcome.
I'm obsessed with your hair color, and whenever I cyber stalk you and look at your pages, I'm always coveting your red hair. And I remember years ago when I tried that hairstyle or hair color, I wasn't able to keep it that color. I feel like it's such a hard thing to do. So you do it well. I feel like picture after picture, it's just as gorgeous.
Thank you.
So I would love to just start quickly about how you even discovered RevAir. I mean, I remember you finding it pretty quickly into us coming to be. And so I was so intrigued tonight to learn how you learned about us, because we were so brand new and just a little speck in the world of beauty.
So I do a lot of hair education like on YouTube, and I explore a lot of videos from different hairdressers on there. So Jamie French,
yes.
So she was like randomly just got popped up in my little screen on like recommendations. And so I clicked on it because I was like, what is she doing, right? And then
what is her hair going into, right? Like, you're like, what is that?
Yeah. And then I clicked on the video, watched it, and actually it was like a Saturday morning. I was actually off that Saturday, which is kind of rare, right? And I was like, I need that for my hair, right? Not even thinking about my clients at the time. I was like, I need it for me. And so I was like, I need to like research this and see what it is. So then I started like clicking, seeing if you all had an Instagram page. That's how I found it. And like immediately like was just like, hey.
Applied for the program.
Yeah. And so like, I like seen some of your questions about tonight, and was like, because I know a lot of people have hesitation because of the price. I like had no hesitation, couldn't wait. Like I had to have it like immediately.
That's amazing. Well, I see that somebody on here is asking if we deliver to the Caribbean yet. And all I want to say is no, but I will fly one there for you personally for a small fee because I and a place to stay. But I agree. I think when you can get a bit of sticker shock because that can seem like a lot to spend on your hair. But when you really do the math of it all, and you think about a keratin treatment, and you think about it replaces 2 devices, it replaces your blow dryer and your flat iron in most cases. Obviously, if you're a coily hair, you might have to finish it off with a flat iron. But when you think about that and you start doing the math, or even just like I was telling some people about a friend who was kind of addicted to one of the blow dry bars, you know, where she would go get her hair done all the time. And I said, you're spending $40 every time, not even including the tip. And in 10 weeks, this would already have been paid for. So, you know, it was just kind of doing the math for people. Well, tell me from your perspective, because I hear this all the time, that some hairstylists get afraid to use it because they feel like it replaces them. How do you feel about that?
I've never thought of it like that at all. Okay. For me, it actually benefits me so much because of time. So now in the hair world, you are so busy doing multiple steps of color. Like you're not just doing one process, you're doing multiple, and sometimes that requires drying in between. That RevAir speeds things up so quick that it doesn't replace you. It's a benefit to you.
I've actually said that. So if there's hairstylists watching who have thought about that, I had been in the salon industry, but on the management side before. I'm not a hairstylist. And I looked at it from, oh no, like in my mind, if this saves you, each one of your guests, a certain amount of time, that becomes a whole nother color you can fit in each day, right? Because if you take 20 to 30 minutes off of every single person that you were already booking and like squeezing another person in with processing and all of those things, it allows you to give yourself a raise without working one more day a week, one more hour a week. You're just getting to do more people because of the quick nature of it. I want to tell people who are watching kind of how I describe the technology, and it's so basic, but RevAir stands for reverse air, and it's a fancy way of saying suction. This is the wand here. Your hair goes into the wand, and then there's a heat chamber here. There are no hot plates. There's nothing that's going to tangle or cut your hair. Your hair floats in there, and it uses the reverse air to straighten and dry the hair at the same time. Now, how I say that it dries 3 times faster, and I'm sure our designer engineer cringes every time I use this example, but it feels super universal to me, is you've been through a drive-through car wash, right, Karie? Like we've all driven in one of those little car washes. So I describe it at the end, how they have the blowers and it just blows like this and you see the little water things go across your car. But in the end, your car isn't ever really quite dry. That's what a blow dryer reminds me of. Whereas this, right? Like it's like moving the water around until it's finally dry. Where this is actually pulling the water, not the moisture. Your hair actually feels much better, but the water from the hair. So will you talk a bit about hair health and what you've noticed as far as how hot this gets? I'd love to hear from your perspective and a styling perspective, how you think it affects or impacts the health of your hair.
Well, it helps tremendously. So most of my clients have hair like mine. A lot of them are thick, curly. And so usually when you blow dry hair like that, it gets very huge.
Mm-hmm. Right. Puffy.
That kind of shows you what a blow dryer does. I mean, it's very frizzy, huge, swollen. When you use the RevAir, it's skinny. Not quite as tight as a flat iron, depending on if you have like really coarse hair.
Sure.
But it's amazing. Like it looks like you've already flat ironed your hair. Like so. As far as like the temperature, a lot of my clients are like, is the heat on? Because they don't even
Right? Like you probably appreciate it too, because I never really thought about this. Like I think about myself doing my hair and just like here in the city I live in California, it gets so hot in the summer that when I'd use a blow dryer, I would have to take a break. Like after I got halfway through my hair, I was like sweating by the time I got up to the top. And now I'm drying the sweat from the hair. It's like a total disaster. But I never thought about from your perspective, which is you're standing behind the chair all day long with hot air blowing on you as you're using a blow dryer. So this must really save the day for you too.
Oh yeah, tremendously. And if you think about it from that aspect, just like the entire room of the salon temperature wise, that helps a lot. Wow.
I hadn't thought of that, but that's a really great point. You know, I tell people because sometimes we'll hear, you guys think straight hair is prettier. And I always say, no, I think healthy hair is pretty, and that the most beautiful thing you can be is happy. And so women should do their hair however they feel the happiest, with no judgment from me or anybody else in this world. And so one day that might be straight, one day that might be curly or coily, you know, they should pick. And so when you were talking about, is it on, that's one of the things, there's no longer this kind of steam coming from you because you're not singeing that curl pattern into submission. You're just using the natural flow of air to make that happen. And then if you didn't need to flat iron, it's the quickest little bit. I mean, I imagine for you, it's even faster because all of us at home trying to do it as a stylist, how much time do you think it saves you on an average?
Obviously, that depends on the head of hair you're working on.
Sure. But let's say somebody took you in 45 minutes to blow dry before. What do you think it would take you now?
Probably half. Like for my hair, usually if I was to actually blow dry it, which has been so long, like I would never blow dry my hair. Actually, I take that back. I had to blow dry it once, and I was on vacation, and I didn't bring the RevAir.
Worse.
I didn't intend on blow drying my hair. I didn't intend on washing it, and so because I could go longer without washing mine, right? I had to blow dry it on vacation, and it was terrible. I had that thing. I was in Florida, so I was doing that thing like you were talking about. I was sweating in the bathroom. So I just I'm sweating, and then my hair is out to here. My husband walks in, and he's like, "What happened to your hair?" He's used to seeing it RevAired, and so like it looks so different compared to when I RevAir it. Like,
and the humidity, like I think you said you were in Florida, so it's like, oh my gosh, double whammy.
Oh yeah. So I mean,
totally.
It's crazy. Yeah.
Well, I want to, if it's okay, kind of take a turn into something that I think is really spectacular that you can share with everybody. Why don't you quickly give a shout out to your Instagram and to your YouTube, if you would, before I start this next portion?
So I go under Hair Karie's Way. You can find me mainly on Instagram. I do a little bit of YouTube videos, but I really started mainly doing that for RevAir just because I love it so much.
Yeah.
So Hair Karie's Way.
And spell your name because we know that it's not the typical Karie.
Karie.
Karie, everyone. Don't forget that. And maybe before we take this turn, I threw on my glasses so we could take a couple questions. Are you up for that if I throw some questions your way? So sure. The first one was, does it really work on very textured hair?
Oh, yeah. It does.
Yes.
By
so
very,
I was going to say, what's like the most you've seen? Like a 4BC? Do you remember the most textured hair you've used it on? Okay.
For sure. Like, I actually on my Instagram, there is a video of a girl who, when her hair is naturally, when I first wash it, it's very short, very tight, very tangly. And actually, sometimes it's easier for me to detangle it if I RevAir it out some.
A little bit. Oh, that's smart.
And her hair, if you look on my Instagram, you can find it. It's just dark hair in the back. And it'll go from like here to like way down here.
Wow, it totally stretches it. Well, a lot of women don't even want straight hair. They want, who have coily hair, they want to get it to a protective style or like a stretch style. So it's really just kind of getting them to that next step faster. Does anybody have any other questions that I can ask? Go ahead and feel free to throw them in now into the comment section. We would love to answer them for you. Let me answer a few questions while we wait for those questions to pop up. We offer a 30-day money-back guarantee. So we want you to love it. It's called the Own It, Love It guarantee. And for 30 days, you can use this device, try it in the privacy of your own home, get a feel for it, decide whether it's worth it or not to you. I happen to think that you will love it and never, ever want to return it. But if you do, we even pay the return shipping. So you have nothing to lose, literally nothing to lose, but your blow dryer that you're going to have to bury in the backyard with a little rest in peace sign.
I would like to shout out your all's customer service.
Please.
Because it is the best. Like I've had, because
I agree.
I was so new in the game with my RevAir. I had to learn a couple things. Being a hairstylist, I kind of abused it probably a little faster than
right.
Like products and stuff. And like there's been times where I was like needed to maybe ship it back or whatever, and you guys, the turnaround is like so quick, which is so important, and everybody's so friendly and so nice, and just it's so fast. Like I think like usually depending on what day it is, like 24 hours it seems like you guys saved the day, because there's been panic mode for me where
Oh, I'm
I was like,
sure.
I was going to be without it, having to check my book to see like if I was going to have to reschedule things,
Oh
because I
my
was,
gosh, because it's changed your timing that much. That's amazing.
yeah. Yeah. So you guys are so awesome. The
Well,
best.
I agree. Like our customer engagement team to me is second to none. And I say on every one of these that while you can see us in like Marie Claire and Fast Company and OK Magazine and Elle and all these people are writing about the device, what always surprises people is that we're just less than 20 individuals running this game and trying to like make it, you know, with this dream in this new way, because it really is reinventing the blow dryer and the flat iron. You know, there's a lot of things that come out, but they're just a different version of a blow dryer. And this is truly different. And so it would be terrible to do that and then to not have the support. And so every single one of us, we all knew each other from a different company. So we're literally a family of people. And our customer service people really believe in the adage of do unto others as you would have done to you. You know, the idea that we want great service when we call, so we would never want anybody to experience anything less. So from text messaging to phone calls to a chat widget on our website, which is myrevair.com, to calling, old-fashioned calling, I always forget that one. You know, they are there, and their average response time is an hour. So you really don't have to wait long for anybody to get back to you. I am seeing people mentioning that there is that they're seeing that some things are out of stock. So let me just say this right now. If you go to our website, myrevair.com, and at the very, very bottom, there's a place where you can sign up for our newsletter. If you sign up for that, you're going to be among the first to get the notice of getting a RevAir device. So please make sure you go in there so that, and you'll also hear about promotions and other opportunities. So do not delay. Make sure that you put your name in there, especially if you were wanting to get one, but you're seeing an out of stock notice at the moment. That will be changing, and you'll have other ways that you can get the technology. So a couple more questions. It looks like people are just asking about things like it can be used on any hair type. So do you want to talk about the range of clients you see? Do you see just all blonde, blue-eyed girls with straight hair?
No.
I didn't think so. Your Instagram is quite eclectic. I love it.
Yeah, no, I actually have quite a few different ethnicities in my clientele portfolio, and it works on everybody's hair. It can work on the finest of hair, and it can work on the most damaged hair. It can work on very straight hair, curly hair, and it can work on actually short hair, depending on what you're trying to accomplish, and it works on long hair. People are actually very surprised with, I don't know if you can see all my hair in this video, but you know.
Oh, yeah, now we can see it much better. It was kind of blending in with your shirt, but your hair is really long.
Yeah, so it's about to my derriere, right? And so everybody's like very surprised when I like show them. They're like, "Your hair goes in there," and it does.
All the way down that hose. It's like people will ask me, they'll say, how long can my hair be? And I'll say, well, as long as it's shorter than 6 feet, we got you. we got you.
And there are some tricks to that. If somebody did have longer hair than mine, or even hair as long as mine, obviously when you're drying it, I always kind of, once you have it in there, when you start working towards the ends, I just kind of hold it down here.
Yes.
A little bit longer. And then actually a little fun hack, I don't know.
Please tell, please tell.
But if you are like trying not to flat iron your hair, if you'll actually put it in, and if you will actually kind of tilt the
like bend it around. Yes.
round brush, right? It literally does work. So yeah, it does. And then on even short haired people, like if you can use your curling iron or something afterwards, or your flat iron, you don't mind, like if you have a couple cowlicks, you might need to direct where the hair is going to dry. But you can super quick get your hair dry, even if it's like super short. Mm-hmm. Now, what you need, is it as necessary for Super short hair, probably not.
Right.
Barely even need a blow dryer for super short hair, but I mean, I'll kind of speed along, you know, on any hair, to be honest.
That's awesome.
And another thing as a hairdresser that was super important to me about the RevAir, I do a lot of my cutting dry. And so, and to do it dry, I need it dry and I need it straight.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a vision haircut. And so, in today's world, if you look on Instagram, everybody's hair's got the curl in it afterwards, right?
Right.
So back in the day, before RevAir, I would have to dry it. It's too huge. I have to flat iron it.
And then cut it.
Then
curl it. I mean, and that's not only like so time consuming, but then it's your hair's, you know, you put more heat on your hair is what I'm saying, in the like worst way, because it's a Friday and I'm tongue tied, but you're exposed to more heat. That is the word that could not come to my head.
Yes. More time. I'm spending more energy just to accomplish the same goal. So it's so good for that too. Like I actually almost feel sad for the hairdressers that don't actually have it. Like legit. Like the last salon that I worked at, by probably less than a year of me working there, because it was a new salon that my friends opened, we all had one.
That's awesome.
Everybody, like, because I had it, and then it was like a trickle effect to where like they were like, oh, can I use it? And
well, that's the thing I was gonna say. When you see it, everybody wants to come over and see it and ask what it is. It's really, I think it's also a really good way to get clients because it's so unique.
Oh, and else's clients are like, well, what's that? And they want to know about it. And so it's the best. It's my favorite.
Well, I'm so glad. Another tip. So you gave that great tip about kind of pulling it around the opening so that you can direct the hair in certain ways. One of the tips that I learned from one of our founders was she will put it straight on the top of her head. I have one here without the hose just so I can show you all. So she'll put it straight on the top of her head because she's trying to create volume. And then she'll just click it from the high heat to no heat and leave it there like another 10 seconds, like a cold shot. And by the time she takes it off, there's like, she's got to bump it. You know, it's like,
it's mega volume.
Totally.
People say they're like, oh, well, I'm going to make sure I have volume. Girl, you can get some volume. You just over direct it like you would.
Yes, like you would a blow dryer.
Yeah.
Totally.
It's perfect.
Well, let's go ahead and make the pivot to the thing that I was saying a moment ago that I just think is so wonderful. So going on your YouTube, you know, and I obviously had seen this previously because it was something that we keep an eye out for all social media and things people are doing. And I was blown away. That's one of the kind of taglines we always use is like, blow your mind, not your hair. But I was truly blown away by what you shared. So your daughter has autism, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And I will admittedly say I probably don't know as much about the topic as I should. So feel free to educate me along with many others. What I will say is, as Karie shares about her daughter and her journey with this, I think a great way to support her is a puzzle piece is the icon for children with autism. So if you would drop a bunch of puzzle pieces and hearts in the emoji thing so Karie can feel the love, that would make me feel incredible. So on your YouTube page, there was a video of your daughter doing her hair review of RevAir, and that just made me so happy. Do you want to talk a bit about that?
Yeah, so McKenna, she's now 13. I think when I got the RevAir, she was probably 11.
Because we're just going on our second year of business, so couldn't have been more than 11.
So usually when I do her, she's biracial, so her hair texture, obviously if I blow dry it, it's, first of all, it's really tangly. It's very hard. It's a lot of tugging. And then her hair is super huge. So then if I want to cut it, then I would have to try to flat iron it. It's a lot, especially for a child that's got sensory issues, because a lot of autistic people have a lot of sensory issues. Like
yeah.
You know, and so there was a lot of problems. Hair blowing in the face, right? Because the blow dryer, it's hot. You gotta make sure the brush, the tangles. So literally what you're saying there is like touch,
When you say sensory, you mean literally the five senses and
all of it.
the way that a blow dryer affects that. So the temperature that you feel, your hair blowing on you, and even the noise, right? The noise is different.
Oh, right. And so when I got the RevAir, I was a little nervous because of the sensory issues with sound. A lot of times it's almost kind of like a vacuum per se.
Sure, we hear that. It's okay.
And so I was a little concerned. So actually, I'm assuming you've seen the video. I did my mother-in-law's hair first. Yeah. She was actually the person I did. I actually was, because I know you wanted to talk about fears, because I was a little nervous. I did her head before I did my head.
I don't know if that means you love your mother-in-law or you don't.
But
you're willing to test it on her. That's like, you must know you're in good with your husband, because a mother-in-law could just be like, she's done.
I broke out this thing, was putting it together out of the box, and was like, look, I'm gonna need you to sit down because I'm gonna do your hair and then I'm gonna do my daughter's hair, and I'm gonna so that she's not scared. And so McKenna got to see me actually doing her hair first. McKenna's my daughter. So after she kind of seen what I was doing, then she was a little bit desensitized because she's seen it. And so the trick with the sound I have found that I wanted to throw out there is that, and I actually even do this at the salon for just everyone's comfort. When I turn on the RevAir, I start literally at the number 1 and leave it on for a second.
This is very smart.
And so I gradually do it just for a couple, like maybe 20, 30 seconds, just kind of, because people kind of acclimate really quick.
Sure.
And so that helps. So by doing that, then it kind of acclimates everyone to the sound.
That is really smart. You said you had a tip and I was like, oh good, I can't wait to hear what it is. But I think that's just smart in general, right? Because you turn on anything and it's kind of like, you have it set at 7 and you turn it on and you're like, whoa, what was that? No matter if you have a sensory issue or not, that's just like a lot for a person.
Right. Or everybody gets used to the sound being on and they're screaming at each other. Also, when I go to turn it off, I do the same. I just gradually.
That's really smart.
Everybody kind of like just seamlessly, and it doesn't bother anybody.
That is wonderful advice. Well, if any of you out there that are watching have questions, please put them in and we will read them live. But also, if you know anybody who has someone who's autistic in their life, this is a really great time to tag them and give them options. We have some really interesting and unique clients that I can't wait to share with everybody coming up in the next weeks. We have had an amazing influencer who has Down syndrome. I can't remember her age, but I mean, it's less than 10 years old. And there she is in the mirror for the first time in her life doing her own hair. And to be able to do that, I mean, her mom had to stop her and say like, okay, your hair is dry, because she just thought it was so fun to do it. Oh. So something that to us is just kind of like, oh, we do it all the time. For her, that felt like a really amazing sense of independence. So from that perspective, it shows you how simple RevAir is to use. And then also in the coming weeks, we're going to be doing something with a hairstylist who introduced us to one of her clients who bought a RevAir at home. And she has, I don't even want to say it's a disability, like she is totally handy capable, but she uses her feet. I don't know if you've seen our videos on our page, but she uses her feet to rev her hair. And I'm just so amazed at her and how she has adjusted in life and just made it so amazing. And I still have so much to learn about her. I heard she has like all these great Instagram pages and things that she's doing beyond just that I saw her rev her hair. So we're going to have her on live one night as well. And I think it speaks to the fact one of our friends and family, there's, MS, there's lots of people with conditions. I know we all see those heartfelt videos on Facebook where there's an old man trying to learn how to blow dry his wife's hair because she can no longer do it. This is a great thing. So it allows people to have that that sense of normalcy and feel like they got back to where they might have been, or they can do things that others just take for granted. So I'm really grateful you shared about McKenna.
So, and that's the good thing too about the RevAir, is because even if you don't know how to do hair, when you use the RevAir, your hair looks done. Like without really doing anything. You're literally just holding it, and within a time or two you might learn, if you have a cowlick or something, hold it in a different angle.
Right. But it's as simple as that. It's just like changing an angle. Yeah.
Right. And then your hair does look done. So, and it is because, you know, I've got, you know, a client who actually, she's missing half of an arm. And so she could easily use this. So you're right. You bring up, you could use your feet if that's all you had to use. And then there, you know, I've been doing hair 20 years. There's a lot of us that at this point, we've got a lot of shoulder problems. We've got a lot of injury. We got a lot of health problems at this point that make hair harder, and RevAir does make your career longer.
It does. I shared on Wednesday when we had the director of our customer engagement team on how, like, within our first couple months of business, we had a hairstylist, and we, you know, like businesses do, we recorded the call coming in, and she sent it out to all of us after, and the woman was just sobbing, saying how she was going to have to quit hairstyling, which was her total love and passion, because she already had to leave like the fancy salon that she was so proud to work in and had worked forever to get to. And she just could physically not do it anymore. Like blow drying was much too painful. And now, and so she was like down to 1 or 2 days a week, like in a family member's house. And she was like, I'm going to have to pivot to a different career or something, because you know, everybody has bills to pay. Everybody has to keep a roof over their head. And she was crying, saying, this is the first day of work that I've had that I don't have pain. And I feel like I can get back at it. So we feel really proud of that. It's like, it goes beyond hair, you know. It's like so much farther. Well, I want to take, if there's any last questions for you, and then we have coming up second guests. I'm hoping that they're going to send me a request here to join in a few minutes. We're supposed to be joined by Kinley and her mom, Nacy. Kinley is a 5-year-old. What were you doing when you were 5, Karie? Did you have a fashion and hair page? Although there's no pages back then, probably, but yeah, I was coloring at best. But so I'm hoping they're going to join us here in a minute. I haven't seen the request yet, so we'll give it just a few minutes, and while we do that, we'll answer a few more questions. Oh, I did have somebody ask, do you use any of the products from the RevAir hair care line? Have you tried any of the primers and shine spray?
I haven't, and actually I need to. I do.
Well, we will send you some for sure.
Okay, because shine spray, that's my jam. I love shine spray.
Well, you'll love this one for sure. Other than those, what are the kind of your favorite shampoos, favorite conditioners? We don't have those, so you can talk about it.
You know, at the salon that I'm working at, she's got, I don't know how you pronounce it correctly, so I might be murdering this.
That's okay.
But I don't know if it's Davines, but it's like a natural line.
I'll take it. I don't know either. So Davines it is, everybody.
When I first saw it, I thought it was like Divines because the way it was spelled, but she says Davines. It sounds better that way, so we'll go with that.
Target, you pick.
I like that well, because it really does make everybody's hair just really soft, and by the time I use that, and I use like Color Wow shampoo and conditioner, that's good. By the time you use that and do the RevAir, everybody literally is like, my hair never feels like this, like every time. And
I call it petting yourself. Like everybody starts like, I'm growing out my bangs, so please ignore this thing going on right here. But, you know, like petting, they're just like petting themselves the whole time.
Oh yeah, and they're trying to figure out, they're like, is it the RevAir or is it the product? I'm like, probably both. But if you probably use the bad product with the RevAir, will it be as soft as good products? No. You know, but I think the RevAir just makes your hair softer and shinier anyway.
It does. A lot of that is because of how it closes the cuticle as well. And from the product perspective, one of the things that's amazing is because your cuticles are, and I say this each time, but are like roof shingles, the idea is that if you have these good for you ingredients in your hair care products, you want them to stay. How are they going to stay on the strand? So you have to think about that. So when you have those roof shingles, the cuticles, if you are using something to seal those down, what you're sealing underneath in between each shingle is the good for you ingredients. So that's also a way that RevAir contributes to the health of your hair over the long term. Because I know for me, my hair feels much different now after 2 years of using RevAir, and actually after 2 months, but especially now that I'm, multiple years into the process, it's like my hair is so much softer and healthier, even though it's still color treated, even though it's still, I've done damage to it, a million different things over the years. So yeah, it definitely is a game changer. Well, why don't you, it doesn't look like our other guests have joined us, so I'm wondering they may have technical difficulty or perhaps something came up. Just hopefully they're well, given all the weirdness in this world right now. Before we leave, why don't you go ahead one last time and give your Instagram handle, your website, your YouTube, anything that you'd love to share.
Mainly if you just look up Hair Karie's Way, and it's just Karie, and then I do put an S on it, so it's Hair Karie's Way. If you just type that in, I'm the only one on social media, it'll pull
Perfect.
up. You'll see the red hair,
Great. Look for the red hair. I love it. Well, thank you so much for joining, and all of you out there, thank you again for spending another Friday night with us. Coming up in the weeks ahead, besides the kind of formal setting that we have here where we're doing Wash Day Wednesdays over on Facebook, and this next week coming up, I believe we have 2 models, or I should say they are models to me, but they're real people, real Rev owners. So they're going to be coming up and revving their hair live this next Wednesday on Facebook. So look for that event invitation, and then also look for any other kind of notification pop-up that you can subscribe to. Following that page will do that. And then also you can go to myrevair.com and you can check out our section for putting yourself in for the newsletter so you can get the most up-to-date information. And other than that, I just want to wish everybody a wonderful weekend, and I hope that everybody has the best hair ever this weekend to sit around their house.
And in case you wanted to know this last tidbit,
yeah, please.
Here's all of it. It takes me like if I shampoo it at the salon, freshly wet, just towel dried, it takes me from start to finish 20 minutes, and I don't have to flat iron.
Wow. 20 minutes. So, did you ever think that'd be possible for your hair?
No, and I stopped wearing it straight for the longest time because I didn't want to do all of it.
Right? I mean, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. Yeah. And I mean, for you to be able, with all that length, to be able to do it, that's amazing. I mean, even here we are, we're about to close up, but we just can't help ourselves because it's so good. So I'll keep going here for a minute. Is that even people can use it with extensions. So what I'm finding is there are friends that I have that, and I can think of 2 in particular so quickly, who loved RevAir before, but got extensions because they knew it would be easier to take care of them now that they have RevAir. And I feel like that's a way for a stylist as well to increase seeing a customer, seeing a client, and what they can do. Because if your client says, no, I don't want extensions because they're too much work, first introduce them to RevAir, get them realizing how simple life can be, and then you can use it on extensions when you get them. And I just like look at these pictures of my friends and I think to myself, oh, now I need extensions. It's like a whole way to just kind of like get your clients to also sell them. And if you're somebody who has extensions and it's just such a pain to take care of them, this is the way that you can do it. I see somebody, Sophisticate One, just weighed in saying, I use it on all my clients with long hair and even extensions. Thanks for sharing that and shouting that out.
That's awesome. And I would say just, and this is with extensions and any hair, because I, like when I worked at the other salon and the other girls started to get RevAir and they weren't as comfortable, I would find myself being like, oh, let me help you, because you do need to realize depending on your hair and your hair texture, the amount of damage, you do need to find your sweet spot on the how much hair you put in, and the speed. So you definitely don't want to just put, like, some people put too small of a section, and basically, you know, like if you're looking into the hole, I kind of tell people you want to visualize like the size of that hole, and that obviously stuff more, you'll realize.
I feel like it worked for us. You're saying it exactly how we would. Keep going, Karie.
So if you overstuff it, it's going to let you know, because it's not going to sound right, and it's going to kick off the heating element.
Yes.
And you don't want to put too thin. You put like a super tiny little section. If you feel it's necessary to put this in there, it's going to tangle it, because you're not supposed to put a tiny section. You don't need to do that,
because it'll make it not have the weight that it needs to that's in there. It's all scientifically done so that when you put that section size in there, it keeps hair from flapping around. So it needs the weight of that hair. There's probably a scientific term for it that Scott is screaming through his phone as he's watching right now, like density or something that I don't know. But I'm sure there's a word for it, that if you put enough in there, it's the combination of all those things. And like you're saying about the speed, I always get hives when I watch a review and somebody is just straight to 7, but their hair probably doesn't need more than a 4. Like that is how you get a tangle as well.
Oh yeah, and it's mainly foolproof, unless you got.
I like that you said mainly.
Unlike a vacuum, obviously a vacuum, it's just it's an open hole. It has a controlled sectioned area in it that pulls it straight, like thin. So it's not just whipping around in there. It is controlled, so it's mostly foolproof. But if you got like very damaged blonde hair, then you're going to need to turn the speed down. And usually what I tell people, if you have fine hair, especially if you want to go ahead and take and just kind of dry on a low speed, the bottom first that gets the most tangled, then you can subdivide it back out and kind of match the diameter here.
That's really smart.
Yeah, because
otherwise. That's really smart.
Yeah, because it will tangle if you got very damaged in dry ends, hair that you're holding on.
It happened to me a couple of lives ago. I was sharing with, like, I left a couple of sections of my hair to do it. And I said to them before I even pulled it out, this piece is going to have a bit of a tangle, like a snarl at the end. And why? Because before my hair was this color, it had blonde highlights in it. And this piece right here is like so fried from all of that it's not the device. This snarl is my hair issue. And until it gets to the point where we can chop off that much, you know, it's like, it's my fault. You can't blame RevAir for that.
Clients all say, it'll tell you where you need a haircut.
Oh, it does. It does. Before we even launched, we had to go do, you know, obviously photos and stuff for the website, and we hired amazing models. And one came in and she had gorgeous, curly, long, super long hair. And she was like, I'm getting little tangles in the end. And I said, I know. When was the last time you had a haircut? And she's like, it's been over a year. Because she wears her hair curly, so she doesn't feel the need. And I said, you have to promise me you're just going to go get like half an inch off the bottom before we shoot in a week. And she was like, okay. And she texted me the next day. She went immediately and got a haircut. She was like, that was it. That was it. It was just those dead ends were tangling up in themselves. So it really does show you that the health of your hair is super important to the style of your hair.
Well, and if you are like, so say you're a client or just a person that's got, you do have a lot of blonde highlights, that you do have some damaged sections, you know, a lot of times the front, what I will do, and a tip for everybody that has it at home, is take that hair into an already dried section. So say like all this front hair is kind of fried. So if you've already from the back, I would take it and like combine it all together, because it'll provide like the girth, for lack of better words.
Right, density, girth, whatever we were. Yeah.
Right, to prevent it from basically being able to whip, it'll like just flatten it back down. So those are like little hacks that you can do that will prevent it from tangling it. But if you know you're on a damaged section, just put it down to like level 1, combine some extra it, and you'll be able to it'll be fine.
That's what's so nice about the device having 7 different settings and 3 different heat settings, is that you can really, even if there's a particular section in your hair, forget that you might have a whole family that's on different settings, but imagine there's a couple of sections in your hair and you just adjust the speed to those. So that's really smart. Well, I could talk to you all day, and I feel like this is just part 1 of us. So you and I'm sure we'll come back sometime soon, and we'll do even more tips and tricks. And I mean, you're a wealth of knowledge. So those are a ton of things I just didn't even know. But in the meantime, everybody go like her pages, follow. It's Hair Karie's Way, Karie. Add an E on the end. My best friend, no E, UE. So add an E on the end, and if you guys have any questions, our customer engagement team is there for you. But otherwise, we will see you Wednesday over on Facebook. Have a great weekend, everybody. Bye. Bye.